What skill or talent would you most like to learn or have?
Okay, so for this, I spent a period of my life in Romania and I learned to speak Romanian. And one of the things that impressed me about a lot of the people there is many of them knew like 4, 5, 6 different languages and could easily communicate with tons and tons of different people. So that's something here in the US because so many people speak English, we're kind of spoiled that way. I would love to be able to speak maybe 4 or 5 different languages.
Je m'appelle Claude.
Je te coupe plow.
What is your favorite thing to do on the weekend?
You may not believe this, but in Arizona, you actually can farm.
Holy moly!
Where I live, we live a little bit west of Phoenix by about 30 minutes in a small farming community called Waddell, Arizona. And the reason why we moved there is I've got 4 kids. My oldest is a freshman in high school, my youngest is in kindergarten. And what we like to do on the weekends together is spend time working out in the yard. We have goats, we have chickens, we have a small garden that we work on. And love being outside doing that, so.
When you want to cheat with food, what is it?
Okay, doesn't matter what station of life a person is in, there's only one correct answer to this, and it is a nice, big peanut butter and jelly sandwich with a cold glass of milk.
Milk was a bad choice.
How did you get in this industry from Romania?
Okay, this is actually a really good story. So, when I was in college, I was married, still am married, by the way, and I was going to class. I was actually a pre-med student, but I was doing business classes because I was always very interested in business, in particular personal finance. And I woke up one day and my wife of less than a year said, "Hey, I've got some really exciting news. We are pregnant." And I was like, "Oh wow," like caught me by surprise and was very excited as well. And I spent the whole day, going to all my classes, doing everything there, just with obviously the big news on my mind. And one of the things that started to happen as I went through that thought process was, do I really want to spend 10 years in medical school and all these other things when I've got this new little baby on the way? And, I went through this whole thought process and I basically decided, you know what, I'm gonna bag medical school. I'm just gonna focus on business. I love finance. I love personal finance. I'm just gonna do that. And after I had made that resolution, I was like, man, you just never forget the day that your wife tells you that she's pregnant for the first time. I'm like, what is today anyway? And it was April 1st.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, ooh, I gotta be careful here. Because if I say, oh, you're April Fool's, right? Then I'm gonna look like a jerk. But maybe it is an April Fool's joke. And sure enough, it was an April Fool's joke. And she's like, wow, it took you long enough to figure that out. But because of that whole situation, it changed my career path. And I'm glad that it did because I'm really happy doing what I do.
Jesus.
I know, right? I know, that was a cruel joke to play. You can't tell your wife like, yeah, sure, honey.
Sure you're pregnant?
Sure you are.
Embarrassing moment.
When I was 16 in high school, I asked a girl out on a date that I had been wanting to ask out for a long time. Took a lot of courage just to, I wasn't blessed with the best genes, as you can see here. But anyway, she said yes, and I was ecstatic. We went to the movie theater, and before we went in to go see our movie, I needed to use the restroom. And I walked into the bathroom, and as soon as I got in there, the first thing I noticed is that there were no urinals, only stalls. And it just dawned on me that everyone else that I was with, they all just watched me walk in. None of them followed me, none of the other girls went in there, none of the other guys went in there. Thank goodness there were not a lot of people in there. But I was in a tough situation, and what I did was I made the most of it. I used the bathroom. I came out, and they're like, "Why were you in there so long?" And I said, "Hey, I had to use the bathroom. Did you know you were in the girls' bathroom?" It might have occurred to me after the fact, but I tried to play it cool. But man, it was very, very embarrassing, and no, she did not become my wife.
What is the favorite thing you like about helping people plan for retirement?
Well, to answer this question, to know a little bit about me and how I was raised, I grew up in a household of 3 kids. My mother was an elementary school teacher for 35 years. And she was the primary breadwinner in our house. So she instilled in me the love of education and teaching and educating people. I was the youngest. I am the youngest. So she was 36 when I was born, and it always impressed me. We'd be out in public at stores or different things like that, and I would see random strangers just coming up to her, giving her a hug, and hey, it's so good to see you. And it just really impressed me the impact that a teacher can have in a community over a period of time like that. So one of the things that has always stuck with me is that love of teaching. And one of the things that I've always felt a lot in my particular industry is clients feel oftentimes like they're being pushed into things, pushed into risk, pushed into products. that they're not being educated properly on how things work, why they're doing things, the strategy behind it, not just the product to fulfill that strategy. And I take that very personally. Every single time that I visit with a client, I want it to be a process where we're going down a path together of education, and that the client knows that they're in the driver's seat the entire time, and that they can make the decisions that are best for them and their family. And my goal with every person, whether they work with us or not, is that they can walk away from that experience feeling like they've learned something and it has positively benefited them. I get a great sense of satisfaction, and I love getting feedback of that too. So if you're watching this and you're having a good experience, please leave me a review or tell me, because it's always nice to receive that hey, this was important, this helped me out, and that's why I do what I do.